to make my point, and and then I was thinking, no, I'm right, actually. Why should I
Back
think
down.
I'm right, so why should I duck out? And when I was doing such things, and then I was thinking, Krishna, help me, because I think there's my ego that's coming in my way.
Mm.
But
Mm.
then I was thinking, and the mind is very funny because it goes in all sorts of directions. And I was thinking, but even this ego comes from Krishna. Krishna's fire, Krishna's water, Krishna's everything.
Mm.
Krishna's all good, and Krishna. It is from Krishna that maybe negative energy comes about. I don't know where this negative energy came about from. And then I wondered where Krishna came from. How God, how Krishna in his original form actually came about.
Ah,
So just these kind of questions, and then I said, okay, just shut up now and keep going and keep reading.
yeah, yeah.
I wasn't prepared to ask you this, but because you asked me, I thought let me just share my thoughts with you at the moment.
No, thank you for sharing. This is actually very personal. It's good. Well, Krishna's original form is eternal. It's never not existed. Now, in this world, we always see a beginning and an end. So we're always looking for a beginning and an end. But the spiritual consciousness is different. And because we in this material world see a beginning and an end, it's for us a little hard to visualize or understand the situation where we're talking about eternity. It's a little bit like the two frogs. I don't know if you've heard this. There's one frog who lives in a well, 4 foot by 4 foot, and another frog who's visiting him, who's come from the ocean. And the frog in the well says to the frog in the ocean, "How big is the ocean?" "Oh, the ocean is huge." "Oh, is it 10 times bigger than this well?" "Oh, no, 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 bigger, much bigger." 20 times? "No, far bigger." 100 times? Far, far, far bigger. And the frog in the well is thinking, how can it be bigger than that? So we have a same issue, that we are like the frog in the well, and we don't really cannot really get our heads around spirituality, the eternity of spirituality, the eternity of the Lord, the eternity of our own self. So these concepts of the existence of God, how did he come about in the first place? Well, it's not there in the spiritual reality because he's
Mm.
always been. It's never been a situation where he's not. And he confirms that in the Bhagavad Gita because he says to Arjuna, Natvevaham jatunasam, Natvam nime janadipa, Nacheva nabhavisham, Sarve vayamataparam. He says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Oh, beautiful. Which chapter is that, Prabhu?
Okay, it's chapter 2, text 12. Chapter 2, text 12. And
actually, all the verses just after that are quite important
instructive
and instructive. Yeah.
But this is where
Hare
he.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, taking after this devotee's question. In one class of Bhagavad Gita, one of the aspiring devotees, she was asking, is there going to be any new soul who will be appearing? So then I was explaining that no, the souls are eternal and everlasting. And she was asking, so where do they come from? So I say from time immemorial, there is no record where they come from. They have been ever existing, right? So I don't know if you have anything to say on this, so I can pass on the message to them, or is it?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and your answer is good. Just before we take that answer, I'll just share. Radhika, was that okay?
Yes, it was. Thank you. You gave me Krishna's words.
No, that's okay. Okay, good. Yes, that's a good point. Krishna's words. Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, I can't beat that. Thank you for that.
Okay, but it is an important question to understand, because in this world, unfortunately, we see things with sort of tainted glasses, and we can't see things as they are. So,
Yeah.
and
And Krishna says that we are eternal too.
Mm.
exactly, very well picked up. Not just we, but everybody. Like he's saying, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall we cease to be.
Yes, Prabhuji, if we take chapter 2, verse 23, I think it says, Nainam chindanti sastrani, nainam dahati pavakana, chainam kriyantu na saswati marata. So we cannot be killed by any weapons, no burned by fire, no withered by water, or moistened by water, or withered by the wind. So we have been there always.
And never
so their question is, will there be any new soul coming so that we can...
Their souls already
Well,
existed.
that is one aspect, but we've got to remember, Krishna is totally unlimited. He can do anything he wants. And believe me, he will be creating new souls as he wants. Yes.
Okay.
Because we got to remember, Krishna's qualities are always increasing. Right? Remember, he looks at the floor in Dwarka and he's thinking, wow, who's this amazing person? His qualities are all personalities. They're independent of him as well as dependent on him. So if his qualities are increasing, they're better and better, more and more. That means there will be new souls, guaranteed. But I take your point. I take your point that, like, we are already in existence. Yes, we've always been, we always will be. That's for sure. But remember, time has a different concept in the spiritual world. Time is not governing the spiritual world. Spiritual world is governing time. So when we say there's a beginning and an end, that concept doesn't actually exist in the spiritual context. So even Krishna's qualities are increasing because there's no concept of the time concept is subservient to Krishna. His qualities may be increasing, but at the same time, that quality has always been there. So that soul has always been there. So it works both ways. It works both ways. So if we look at it from our point of view, yes, there will be new qualities, new souls. But from his
So
point
the question was that, sorry to cut you, the question was, will there be new souls in in a new civilization out of this material world? That's the question was, actually.
Will there be new souls in another civilization?
Yes, out of this material world.
Yeah. I mean, remember there's billions of universes?
Yes.
Right? So
that I said they're unlimited, but new souls, I didn't say new souls, because I myself, I don't know if there will be new souls, so how can I tell people
see,
about
Krishna's energies are unlimited, and if he wants to create in order to enhance the leelas, the pastimes, he can, he will, he does. Yeah.
And
Thank you.
would be moving from universe to universe depending on their karma and the desires.
Yes, that also, I mentioned that also.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's very interesting questions you get, Mataji.
Oh, I told you the other day, I always get, tonight I don't know what I'm expecting, but so many questions, like Anil, like asking questions, all of them are the same. They ask lots of questions, but that's why I come to you when I'm not sure, right?
But
so
these
go ahead.
children, when we go to schools, they ask incredible questions as well.
Yes.
And it's a great sign. And Mataji, if you've got people who are asking questions like that, it's a great, great sign.
Thank you. I'm sorry to cut in through Radhika.
No,
You were talking.
no, that's okay. No, you're welcome to any time. And don't need to say sorry, because we got a lot. We got such a big history. It's amazing, actually, and it's so nice to reconnect with you again.
Thank you. Me too. Every morning I thank Krishna for this group, and I'm waiting for this group when I will join in, and I don't want to miss anything that we are doing. It's incredible, really. Thank you.
The good thing is we can tell each other, hey, and this is and no problem, because hey,
Yeah.
this is a really good place where we're at, So I'd like to thank you, Haji.
That's why I keep telling everyone, because when, for example, when I'm giving class in a temple, you have this 1 hour time. You have to stop there. 1 hour is done. But here we can talk more than 1 hour, and we are allowed, and we get this permission. That even this morning I was talking with a friend. I was telling, and she says, you are lucky to get this platform, so you can explore more and get the ideas of others and share your ideas as well, which is very good. Thank you for that.
No, thank you. Just back to Radhika again. Sorry, Radhika, I'll pick on you. Your point about the mind, how sometimes, like today, you were thinking, where are these thoughts coming from?
Yes.
You're actually very fortunate, because I have that problem every single day, right? So if you don't have that problem every day, you're really in a good place. I struggle every single day with my mind. It's and you have to tell the mind by the chanting, by the reading, that hey, stay controlled, because you're not going to go out of control. But I don't always succeed. So I'm pretty impressed that you only have this sort of situation now and then.
No, I just tried to sound a bit elite. That's all.
Well, you are elite. You're in a different category. Just your name, Radhika.
Oh, Radhe Radhe.
Does that sort of address all your points? I don't know if it does.
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you. Thank you for that. It's always such a pleasure to be here and to listen to you and Mataji.
Thank you.
And I must say, I totally appreciate the fact that you remember each of us devotees and you remind us, despite your busy schedule, to say that this is happening, to participate. And
can never forget you. And if you're free on Friday evenings, we started this session, actually 7 o'clock we start, is we trying to go through the Gita chapter by chapter in about a 20-week seminar.
okay.
So you're welcome to join. It's always fascinating. We've done this a few times, and believe me, it's every time I do it, I think, did we really go through the Gita last time? Because this time, so much out of it.
Sure. No, that's brilliant. Happy to join. I joined. I there was something similar recently held. It was 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. So each day they did, there was a summary of each chapter, and it was it was very interesting for beginners like me who are just trying to learn. It's very useful. So happy to be there on Fridays.
Oh, brilliant. No, thank you. And I know you say beginners, but just to let devotees know, Radhika recites the Vishnu Sahasranam amazingly. She's really absolutely amazing.
It's very nice. One day we would like to listen to her.
Yeah, maybe today if she's happy to share, because it's so good. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. No, happy to share. Except it's a lot of shlokas, because it's not anywhere close to the Bhagavad Gita or Narayanyam or Bhagavatam, which runs into several chapters. This one is Vishnu Sahasranam is so famous and so powerful, as they say, because it's 1008 names of Vishnu or Krishna. So it's all his name. So it's just calling out for him. That's why I love it.
So I would like to listen to you. I know a little bit, but not much, but I would like to listen to you.
Oh, lovely. Sure. Maybe at the end of this session, Mataji, once we listen to Prabhu first.
How long does it take?
It takes time. It takes about 25 minutes. So I don't want to hijack Prabhu's session, but happy to chant a couple of shlokas just at the end.
Oh, yeah. Like Sri Rama, Rama, Rameti, Rame, Rame, Manoram.
Yeah.
That one.
Yes, yes, that one comes. Interesting that this one is actually not part of the Vishnu Sahasranamam.
It's
Okay.
at the
It
end,
comes
right?
towards the end
Yes.
during a conversation that goddess
Mhm.
Parvati is having with
Shiva.
Mahadev, with Shiva.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
during that conversation, this shloka comes as the response from Lord Shiva to
Mhm.
just make life easy for all of us. He says, "Oh,
Yes.
if it's so hard to say 1,008 names every day, just say Rama.
Yes. Yeah.
Just say Rama. Just one word, Rama. That means you've chanted
And
all the
and
1,008 names."
and we get so many personalities, like Vaishambhayana, and then we get Yudhishthir. At the end, we get Parvati, Shiva, and there's one more personality who I think they ask question, and the sloka goes on. So I
Who
would like to.
else? Who else but the great Arjuna who asks the
Yes.
questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, over to you, Prabhu. We'll Indu Mataji, and for the rest of us, we will maybe chant a couple of lines or couple of shlokas from the Vishnu Sahasranama towards the end of the session.
Because I remember we were having this very discussion about the power of the name of Ram, and then you came and you said, "There's a nice slok," and then you recited that slok, and I was thinking, "Wow, amazing!"
Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
Mhm.
Okay, so read this the Katha
yeah.
of Utpanna Ekadashi. So the glories of Utpanna Ekadashi are described in the Bhavishyatara Purana in a conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjun. Sri Sutta Goswami said to the assembled Brahmins and sages, if a person with faith and devotion duly follows or hears about the glories, rules, and regulations of observing Ekadashi as described by Lord Krishna, then he will attain happiness in this life and return to the abode of Lord Vishnu in the next life. Once Arjuna asked Sri Krishna, O Janardhan, please explain to me what the benefit is of total fasting, eating only at night, or eating once at midday on Ekadashi. In reply to this, Lord Sri Krishna said, O Arjun, in the beginning of autumn on the Ekadashi that occurs during the waning moon in the month of November-December, a person should begin observing the vow of Ekadashi. In the early morning on the day of Ekadashi, he should make a vow to observe fasting. At midday, he should purify himself by taking a bath. At the time of taking bath, he should pray as follows. O Ashwakrante, O Radhakrante, O Vishnukrante, O Vasundhare, O Mitike, O Mother Earth, please destroy all my sinful reactions accumulated from previous lifetimes so that I can attain the supreme destination. After completing his bath, he should worship Lord Govinda. Once Indra, the king of heaven, surrounded by the demigods, approached the Supreme Lord and prayed to him as follows. O Lord of the universe, Supreme Personality of Godhead, we offer our respectful obeisances to you. You are the supreme shelter, the mother and father of everyone. You create, maintain, and destroy everyone. You are the benefactor of the earth, the sky, and the entire material creation. You yourself are Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. You are the Lord and enjoyer of all kinds of sacrifices, austerities, hymns, and the performers. There is no object within these three animate and inanimate worlds which is not owned and controlled by you. O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Master of the demigods, O Protector of the surrendered souls, O Supreme Mystic, the demigods have been deprived of the heavenly kingdom and have been driven out by the demons. They have fearfully surrendered to your lotus feet. Please protect them, O Lord of the universe. We have fallen from the heavenly planets into this earthly planet and have merged into the ocean of miseries. Kindly be pleased with us. On hearing such a pathetic prayer from Indra, Lord Vishnu asked him, who is this invincible demon who has defeated even the demigods? What is his name? What is the source of his prowess? O Indra, please explain to me everything in detail without any fear. Indra replied, O Lord of the demigods, O deliverer of the devotees, O supreme Lord, a fierce demon named Nadi Janga, who first caused distress to the demigods, appeared in the family of a Brahmin. He had an equally powerful infamous demon son called Mura. The great city of Chandravati is the capital of this great demon Mura. This demon Mura has driven out all the demigods from the heavenly planets and is living there instead. He has taken over the post of Indra, Agni, Yama, Vasu, Isha, Chandrama, Nairita, and Varun all by himself. All the demigods combined could not conquer him. O Lord Vishnu, please kill this demon and protect the demigods. On hearing the words of Indra, the Lord became very angry towards those who had harassed the demigods and said, O king of the demigods, I will personally kill this powerful demon who is your enemy. Now all of you should return to the city of Chandravati. Thereafter, all the demigods, led by Lord Vishnu, proceeded towards the city of Chandravati. On one side, the demigods were preparing for the battle with thousands of various weapons in the possession. On the other side, the demon Mura was roaring, surrounded by an innumerable demon army. The demigods were already scattered due to the severe beatings by the demons. But now, when the demons saw the rejuvenated, fearless demigods, led by the Supreme Lord, standing before them, the demons became extremely angry. Although the Lord easily defeated all the other demons, he felt difficulty in defeating the demon Mura. When, in spite of using various weapons, the Lord could not kill the demon Mura. He engaged in wrestling with the demon for 10,000 years. Finally, the Lord defeated the demon and left for Badrikashram. In Badrikashram, the Lord entered a beautiful cave named called Himavati and took rest. The Supreme Lord continued, O Arjun, thereafter that demon chased me and entered that cave. On seeing me resting there, he decided to kill me. At that time, an effulgent daughter appeared from my body and, holding various divine weapons, began to fight with the demon. After constantly fighting with the demon for a long time, the effulgent goddess finally severed his head. Then, out of fear, all the other demons ran away to Patal Lok. When the Lord got up from his rest, he saw the dead body of the demon Mura lying in front of him, and an effulgent goddess humbly standing before him with folded hands. On seeing her, the Lord asked her in surprise, Who are you? The goddess replied, O my Lord, I am born from your body and I have killed this demon. On seeing you lying down, this demon attempted to kill you, therefore I have killed him. The Supreme Lord said, O goddess, I am very pleased with you for this act. You can ask for any benediction you desire. When the goddess prayed for benediction, the Lord said, You are my spiritual energy, and since you have appeared on the day of Ekadashi, your name will be Ekadashi. Anyone who will follow the vow of Ekadashi will be relieved from all sinful reactions and attain inexhaustible heavenly happiness. From that day onwards, the day of Ekadashi has been nourished and worshipped in this world. O Arjun, I award the supreme destination to a person who observes the vow of Ekadashi. O son of Kunti, an Ekadashi mixed with Dvadashi is the highest. One should give up sex life, eating grains, honey, meat, eating on a bell metal plate, and applying oil on the day of Ekadashi. If a person observes this Ekadashi and hears its glories, he can attain even more results. Utpanna Ekadashi ki jai.
So this is actually almost like the beginning of Ekadashi. Utpanna Ekadashi is like the first Ekadashi, where Ekadashi appears and the Lord blesses her, and he gives this boon, doesn't he, that whoever fasts on your day will become free of all sins. And at that time, Papa Purush, Dharamraj, comes to Krishna and explains to Vishnu and says, well, you've made me redundant. Why? Vishnu asks, because everybody's fasting and nobody's coming to me. So you created me to do my job, but I've been made redundant. And he was feeling very sad. And Krishna doesn't like to see Dharmraj sad. So he said, okay, what we will do is we will allow people to eat. They don't have to fast. But if they eat grains and beans, all the sins will be allocated to that kinds of food. So now there was no obligation to fast, but if you ate certain types of food, the sins were attributed to those foods. So and then Papa Purush became a little bit more joyful, and he understood that the Lord fulfills everybody's desires. And Ekadashi was also happy because anybody who fasts from grains and beans, she would be able to bless them. So this day is very important. It's the day of Lord Hari. The idea is to remember Lord Hari and, if possible, fast as well. Definitely not eat grains and beans. I can just relay a personal example. I try to not eat anything on these days because it's such an important day. But today I was just feeling a little bit like Radhika. Hey, my head's spinning. Of course, her head's not spinning, but mine was. And it was aching. I was thinking, oh, how am I going to deliver anything on the Mahabharata if I'm feeling like this? So I ate potato. I always joke to Jayanti about having chips and beans. So I had chips without the beans. And now, of course, feeling a lot better. But the idea is that we fast, but if we fast from water and everything, but we're not feeling well and we can't remember the Lord, then we've actually missed the point of the fasting. The point of the fasting is to remember the Lord. So we eat less. So I only ate once. Normally I'd eat about 10 times. But the idea is not to be diverted from the real purpose of Ekadasi, which is not fasting. It's remembering the Lord. That's the whole idea. But if we can fast, definitely avoid grains and beans, and still remember the Lord, that will please the Lord even more. So that's a very, very nice position to be in. But if for any reason we can't fast and we can't remember the Lord, we can't deliver our service, then it's better to eat Ekadashi food and deliver the service. The service is more important than anything. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, the guru of Prabhupada, he used to say to his devotees, a lot of them used to just stay in the mutt and not do anything on Ekadashi. But there was one devotee who ate and he went out preaching. And so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said to everybody, he has understood my mission. So it's not that we fast and our ego feasts, but we fast and try to become a little bit more humble, try to become a little bit more remembering the Lord. That will help us. Otherwise, the fasting may increase the ego. And just to pick up a little bit on what Radhika said, very nice comment you came out with, actually. Your opening stance was really good. It's something like you were saying that, why should I back down? I know I'm right, and these guys are wrong. I always have this attitude, actually. Jayanti will tell you that's my signature tune. I'm right, you're wrong. I start on that premise. And of course, I'm always wrong because we know Lily is always right. So sometimes this is what happens with our chanting. We're chanting and we're thinking about what has happened. And because we're thinking about what has happened, the chanting will actually boost our ego. Yes, you're absolutely right. And they're absolutely wrong because our mood of chanting is wrong. Because our mood of chanting is, my dear Lord, I'm chanting, I'm remembering this fight, and you please back me up on this. And of course,
true, actually. Yeah, true.
it's true. So we got to be careful when we're chanting that we don't get into that rot. Actually, we're generally wrong. Generally, the ego takes over, and at least I'm speaking for the men, that we're thinking that we're the controllers, that we are in charge, but nothing is actually that straightforward. So generally speaking, our mood of thinking, if we are in an aggressive mood, is because we are in the wrong. If we're in a calm mood, generally we are calm because we have some confidence in what we are thinking. But if we're angry and like thinking, I'm right, generally it's an indication, especially from the men's side, that we're wrong. So this is from experience.
That's useful. That's useful. Thank you. I wanted to go back to what Mataji read. It was beautiful. So where does Arjuna ask Krishna about Ekadasi? Is that part of the Bhagavad Gita conversation? First question. No, it's not. Okay. Then where? And the second question is, has Krishna answered that specific question that Arjuna asked about what if I fast midday until midday? What if I eat the meal? What is the difference? Has that specific question been answered by Krishna?
Not in this katha.
But he has answered it in another katha. So this was a conversation between the brothers and Krishna. So this one is in Bhavishyotara Purana, one of the Puranas.
Okay.
Bhavishyotara Purana. And generally this conversation takes place between Yudhishthira and Krishna with the other Pandavas present. So one time Krishna was explaining all this and Bhim said, "Hey, I can't do this. This is not fair," he says to Krishna. "How can you do this to me?" He was really getting upset. He was with tears in his eyes, and Krishna calms him down and said, "Okay, don't worry. I'll create one special one for you. Don't worry. I'll give you some special rules for you." So this is not necessarily that Arjun's question is answered in this Ekadashi, but he's answered it in another Ekadashi. That if you fast if you don't eat anything all day, you get the full benefit. If you fast until evening, you get half the benefit. And then if you eat at after midday, you get like a quarter or a third of the benefit, something like that. Okay. It's specified in one of the Ekadashis.
And the other do's and don'ts include, apart from don't go anywhere near grains and beans, don't oil the hair. Was that a rule? Was that
applying oil on the day?
Yes, that's correct.
It's mainly to the body, like massaging. You shouldn't be doing that.
I think the idea is you try to get away from the
bodily concept.
Concept. That's right. And you try to focus on the Atma's relationship with the Lord. So, for example, we're not supposed to shave on Ekadashi. That's why I look like a little bit of a mess. Or the body looks a bit of a mess. Not supposed to cut nails on Ekadashi. Many things, you're supposed to try to reduce
anything to do with the body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Is it also to save time, to get more time to dedicate to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is the main purpose.
Absolutely. More time. Correct.
So
May I add?
in other words, leave the mundane things for other days while you can focus quality time on Krishna.
Brilliantly put.
Yeah, so actually the Sanskrit word upavas is broken into two words. Upa means sameep, that is closer or nearer, and vas is you stay closer to God. So basically cutting down on our food and is just, to give ourselves some time off the kitchen and being closer to recitation or chanting. Also, if we see in terms of our body as a machine, well, this is the scientific bit of it, which I can relate to as a scientist, is that any machine, would need an overhauling. So, for our body as a machine as well, we need to give it some rest. So that is the reason, there is a very clear demarcation of certain kinds of food that we can eat and certain kind of food that we cannot eat, so that our body gets that rest at the same time, because we've been eating all like all the time, we cannot keep ourselves hungry. So we can eat a certain type of food or seeds that would keep us satiated. At the same time, we can also concentrate on the Lord. So this is what is my understanding about Ekadashi and the upvas and the kind of different kind of foods or grains that we are allowed or not allowed.
That's really wonderful for sharing that. Thank you for sharing, Puna Mataji. I thought you were not on the call. So it's so nice. Now, is Shaky around?
It's so hard to leave these calls, Prabhuji. You got magic in your words.
Oh, no, you have. Is Shavi around at all? Is she sleeping?
She's just gone to bed. She was around, yes, until a couple of minutes ago. Yeah.
It's funny. I just wrote to you saying I'm missing Shavi.
Okay. Okay.
Radhika, I'm just letting you know.
We all are missing her.
Yeah. Puna's daughter, Shavi, recites the Bhagavad Gita so beautifully. 12th chapter.
Oh, wow.
And she's one of the most amazing personalities.
She knows these verses by heart as well.
She knows it
Wow,
by heart.
beautiful. How old?
She's 8 years old.
8.
Oh my God, wow.
And her mother is training her so wonderfully. Puna Mataji, so nice. And the whole family is something else. So actually,
Navi?
yes.
Hina in the congregation is keen to know about something more about Ekadashi to do it for our forefathers' world. I think she's a bit shy to ask. So can you please
yeah, of course.
ask her to unmute and speak to you?
Yes, Hina, are you
Yeah, hi. Sorry. I just wanted to ask why we do Ekadashi for family members that have passed away.
Well, you don't have to, but you this is one of the beauties of Ekadashi.
So we are doing them for my dad that just recently passed away, but I'm just trying to understand why we do them. I mean, we always do them when somebody in the family passes away, but I don't actually know
why.
Yeah. And maybe how many you should do. And if you can just give us a little bit of information on that, please.
My mother passed away 4 years? 4
years
ago.
4 years,
4 years ago. Now, and father about 30 odd years ago. Now, every Ekadashi I do, we give them half the benefit. Why? Because we can. This, especially Ekadashi, is a vrat where we get a lot of piety by doing this vrat. And the beauty of this piety especially is that we can give some of the piety to others. It doesn't have to be just those who have departed. You can give it to anybody, your husband or your children, even while they're around. So what we do is we observe the fast. So from sunrise to sunrise. So this morning sunrise until tomorrow sunrise is the fast of Ekadashi. And after sunrise tomorrow at about 8 o'clock, you approach the Lord and you say to the Lord, my dear Lord, thank you so much for allowing us to fast on this very dear day of yours. And I would like to share this portion, whatever it is, 100%, 50%, 10%, 1%, with, and you identify the person. And then you basically pray to the Lord, please give them this portion of the benefit that I have derived from fasting. So it helps them in their spiritual progress. So whoever's departed, you can't do much for them now, but actually you can. You can fast and give them the benefit. You can chant the holy names and say to the Lord, please give them protection. So what you're doing is basically you're paying a debt. You have a huge debt to your forefathers, especially your mother and father. That debt is not possible to extinguish. They've given you the body, they looked after you for many, many years. How can you repay that? Well, there's only one way. You can go to the Lord and say, my dear Lord, whatever piety I'm doing, I would like you to give some portion of it to my parents. So in that way, slowly, slowly, you repay some of the debt. That's the reason we have so many debts, and the biggest debt we have is to our parents, but nobody recognizes that. Nobody appreciates that because that's not taught in this Western culture. But our debts don't get extinguished, especially to our parents. We have to do something about it. And one way we can do something about it, we do a little bit of tapasya and we give them the benefit of that tapasya. Does that make sense, Hina?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. It's very helpful. Thank you.
But you can do it to anybody, for anybody. If somebody is in difficulty who's very dear to you, you can fast on their behalf and say, my dear Lord. In fact, we have a process of finishing our fast. We go to the Lord, then we go to Mother Ekadasi, and we pray to Mother Ekadasi. Thank you for allowing us to fast. And we say the same thing. Any benefit that's accrued, some portion, please allocate to this person. And then we go to our guru, we go to our parents, whether they're here or not, and we ask for their blessings. Go to the guru, ask for his blessings, and thank him and give him prasad and give him some dakshina, like that. And then to his god brothers.
And this can be done in the mind. It doesn't have to be done in person.
Yeah, all in the mind. And if you can, feed cows, again in the mind. We were very fortunate. We were in India in 9 months ago. We were able to feed Gomata every day, especially after Ekadasi. Feed the Gomata, feed the Brahmins. Very, very important. So if we can't physically do it, you do it mentally. In this age of Kali Yuga, anything you do mentally is the same as you do physically.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for that question. Actually, Purna Mataji had got a question. I can just address it now. I didn't think you were here, so I... if everything is created by God, good and bad, then why did God create suffering? Well, he didn't. We created suffering. Because we wanted to be separate from God, he won't stop us. He created this world. And this world is full of suffering. But we created it because we want to enjoy separately from God. And we want to try to become God. So this world won't exist if we didn't have that desire. It's not that God has created it to put us here. He's created it because we wanted it. So if we didn't want it, it wouldn't be there. Hence why we are responsible for its creation. Why is there good and bad then? Because we are responsible for our acts. So if we do good things, we get good things back. If we do actions which are not so good, then we will get a reaction for that. And we would have to suffer the consequences. Why? Because we are responsible for our acts. God has given us independence. If he gave us no independence, if he forced us to do whatever he wanted, then there would be no question of karma. But then there will be no question of love as well. So you can't force somebody to love you. So we've fallen out of love with God, if you like. He loves us unconditionally. He's crying because we're not with him. He's created this world, and he comes to this world often to remind us about himself. He leaves instructions. This Bhagavad Gita is a personal letter to us. It's his letter to us saying, hey, come back to me. And this world is full of suffering, but you can easily leave this world and come back to me. So I don't know if that answers the question, but by suffering, I mean real suffering. We see animals, children suffering, not for their own fault. They may not have a fault in this life. We see many times children at a very young age, they leave their bodies. We saw in the pastime of Mahabharata how Ganga Mata killed the first 7 of her children, right? They suffered, they were drowned. But as we heard the pastime, Ganga Mata explained to Shantanu that in the past, there were Vasus that committed offense. They were meant to be born as humans, but I wanted to cut short their suffering. So I drowned them, except the 8th child. He was meant to stay in this world and suffer a lot more. So he has to live. So we all have a past. Even the child who has died when he was very young, yes, he hasn't incurred any karma in this life, but in his last life or the life before, he's done something to warrant that suffering. And it's extraordinarily hard to understand karma. It's not even possible to try. Dhritarashtra, he asked Krishna after the war, why did I have to see my 100 children die? Why did I have to suffer that? And Krishna thought for a moment and he said, the reason is in 50 lives ago, you were a hunter and you killed 50 chicks, 100 baby chicks. So then Dhritarashtra said, okay, fair enough. But why did I have to wait 50 lives? Because Krishna said, for every life, you had to do enough piety to get 2 children, 2 boys, 2 sons. And you did enough piety in 50 lives. After 50 lives, you have done enough good karma to receive 100 children. So in this life, you had to suffer the consequence of what you did 50 lives ago because you slaughtered 50 chicks and you saw them, 100 chicks, and you saw them, you enjoyed seeing them die. So that's karma. So this is karma. This is very hard to understand. So when somebody dies like that, when they're young, or the animals who are struggling, suffering, no apparent fault of their own, but actually there is a fault. It's just we can't see the fault. The fault is in the karma. Otherwise, God will be accused of being partial. He would be favoring one against another. And that's not possible for God. He is impartial. So we can only understand that one person is born with full capability and another has got issues, challenges. One is born very rich and another is born very poor. And that's not because God has decided, I like this guy, so I'm going to give him a lottery. And the other guy I don't like, so you know what? I'm going to give him one less arm than he needs. That's not a loving father. That's somebody who hates rather than loves. But God he loves us and he wants us back with him. So this suffering, we should also understand it's all temporary suffering and it's meant to uplift us. So when we're suffering, we remember God. Kunti Mata prays in her prayers to Krishna, please let me just suffer all the time. Because when I'm suffering, I remember you. When I'm happy, I forget you. So that's a very elevated state. We're not in a state to pray like that. Because when suffering comes, we can't handle it so much. But we should understand when we're suffering and we remember God more, then it's a blessing of the Lord. Any suffering is actually a blessing of the Lord, especially if we remember him. So we may also have situations in our own life. Hey, I didn't deserve that. Why did that happen to me? Right? I don't think anybody in this world will not be thinking that at some point. Why did God do that to me? Right? I don't deserve that. And he's the first call of the blame that we give is God. Why did you let that happen to me? But there is always a reason why, because of karma. How would the Lord be feeling to see his creation struggling at this level? Very, very nice question. Puna Mataji, your questions are very deep. He's crying. He's seeing us in this world and he's thinking, what is my child who I love so much? What is he doing in this crazy world? Why doesn't he just turn his face to me? It said Krishna in Dwarka, he wakes up early morning, 4 o'clock, and he meditates. He washes his hands, his mouth, his feet, and he meditates. Who's he meditating on? He's meditating on us. Why are my children away from me? And anybody who's a parent here, whose child has left and gone maybe to university, you know what I mean. You will only be thinking about that child. You won't be thinking about the child who's with you because he's with you. But you'll be thinking about the child who's not with you. So God is always thinking about us. He's always thinking how, as is Shiva as well. We were just reciting that yesterday. Lord Shiva is always thinking, he's always meditating on Krishna, but he's also meditating, how can I help these foolish souls in this world to go back to Krishna? So that is the position of the Lord. He's feeling bad. He's feeling very, very bad that we have decided to go away from him. The only thing he does not have, he has everything. The only thing he's missing is our love. And he's missing us. That's a guaranteed fact. And that's why he comes to our world so often, to show us his sweetness, his greatness. He gives us instructions through himself, through his devotees, so that we can go back to him, come close to him again. If he didn't care for us, he would just leave us here and forever condemned. But he makes such a big effort to come so often. Does that make sense, Poonama Aji?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good questions.
Yeah, I still have one, but I have my eyes on the clock. Maybe I'll just text it to you later on, probably.
No, you can ask. It's okay.
It's again on karma.
Yeah.
I mean, we have always been told, since we were children, that always do good karma. Your karma decides everything. And again, when we see the suffering, they would bluntly say that it would be some past karmas, of the past lives or the past janmas. I mean, but what I mean, okay, it doesn't. I accept it, because it is coming from experienced people. I accept it, but for a person, I mean, for what I can see is there are certain things, even if they are not in my hands, I am not doing anything, and still it will come into my account of karma. So that time I'm thinking, okay, it is Lord's wish and will. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah. So when it is Lord's wish and will, how can we, put the blame on the past karmas? Again, that is his will. I mean, we as immortal people are not capable of doing as much. It's only he who is guiding us. So, how can we just go around this karma blame game? I mean, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The thing is, ultimately, you're right. We can't even act. Krishna says, Pakatikayamanani. He says, don't think that you're acting. Everything that you're doing is actually being done by the devatas. So from that point of view, what you're saying makes sense. Hey, Krishna, you're saying that even I'm not acting, the devatas are doing. So why are you blaming me for these acts? Why am I being punished? Actually, what Krishna explains is that it's our desires. The living entity has icha, desires. And those desires get fulfilled through material nature. But the desire is what is the problem if the desire is separate from Krishna. So as long as our desires are not in sync with the Lord's, we will always face our independent challenges. as soon as our desires get in line with Krishna's, and that's not in a bad way from the Lord point of view, because he, in one sense, given us that independence to desire whatever we want, right? So he's given us this choice. But if we link in with him and try to understand that actually our desire is best served by serving Krishna, then we will be in our proper position. But at the moment, because our desires are separate from what Krishna's desires are, our desires are to satisfy our situation, our soul, our senses. Hence, we will always be in this struggling position. So that's the original problem, our desires. If we get our desires, if they focus on material desires, if they're to satisfy material desires, then we're always going to be in this horrible situation. And you're right about karma. The king, he can do things in his state and the citizens suffer. So you think, hang on a minute, how is that fair? The king does acts and I get the karma. Indra received so much bad karma by killing Vritasura, who was a devotee in the disguise of a demon. And what did Indra do? He said, right, I'm going to distribute these sins to everybody else. I'm going to give 1/4 of my sins to the ladies so that they have menstrual period. What did the ladies do wrong? Nothing. But Indra nicely donated his bad sins to the ladies. So Punamataji, I see what you mean. That hey, hang on a minute, I don't deserve that karma. Where'd that come from? But the original problem is that our desires are the cause of our problem. So yes, we may not even have performed the karma to get the reaction that we're getting. I sort of understand where you're coming from. But we are still originally to blame because and not just originally, but even now, because our desires are to enjoy separately from God. And as soon as we realize that actually my interest is that my desire should be to serve God, then even any problems come to our body, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't see them as problems. We see them as blessings. And I'll give you examples. My Guru Maharaj, he had a quadruple bypass operation 30 years ago, roughly 30 years ago. Did he see it as a problem? No. He saw it as an opportunity to give even more to Krishna. After he had the quadruple bypass, he started traveling all around the world preaching about Krishna. And I always questioned him, how did that work? How does that work, Maharaj? How does that work? You had a quadruple bypass.
Before that, he wasn't traveling.
Before that, he wasn't traveling so much. And after that, you started traveling. Please explain this to me, Maharaj. He never would. Because he was humble. But I understood over a period of time that he's beyond, his desires are simply to serve Krishna. So whatever bodily impact is on him, it doesn't have an impact on him because he's controlled by his desire to serve Krishna. So as soon as we fix that problem, even we may see other problems have an impact on us, but we won't see them as problems. We'll see them as an opportunity to serve Krishna. Prabhupada, another example, he lost every single thing he had. He lost his business, he lost his family, he lost his health, everything went. But what happened? That's when he started his worldwide Hare Krishna movement. How's that possible?
True, Prabhuji. I really like this, way of aligning ourselves. You presented it very nicely that, we align our desires to what Lord's are, and when once we are aligned with him, there will be less suffering. And there's no doubt about it. Yes. Yeah.
Even where there is suffering, there isn't suffering. That's the beauty of the Lord.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
No, it's a pleasure. If there's any more, please do. I love your questions, and don't think that actually they're very important questions, and others will have the same questions. I will have the same question myself.
Oh yeah, I have. I mean, lots of them, and you will have a lot of them coming through your way. please don't, ban me from your phone list then.
No, never. That will never. And you can guarantee that's never going to happen because of Shavy.
Yes, I have the what I can say.
You have a license.
Yes.
Powerful weapon.
Yes, powerful weapon. Yeah, true.
Right. She'll be loved forever. She should understand that. She's an amazing child.
Oh, thank you very much.
Also, we have to understand, when we're saying aligning our desires with Krishna's, it's not that we become subordinate to Krishna. This is the thing about the Lord. He doesn't want he doesn't want a yes man. Radharani is not a yes woman. Radharani is exactly the opposite, right? If Krishna says we'll go right, she'll go left, right? She'll do exactly the opposite of what Krishna wants. And Krishna loves that. He loves that. He's not looking for yes man. He's looking for love. He's looking for character. He's looking for
someone who lay down their life for him.
Yeah, they'll do anything for him.
To please him.
To please him. And they don't want anything back in return, right? This is the position of the devotee. They'll do anything for him, but they don't want it. And he will reciprocate. He'll want to do things for the devotee. But the devotee will say to him, nah, I don't want it. Please take this. No, I just want to please you. I just want to serve you. And what happens is Krishna that way, unknowingly for the devotee, becomes under the control of the devotee. The devotee doesn't want to control Krishna. Why should he want to control Krishna? But he becomes under the control of Krishna. So when we align our desires with Krishna's, Krishna becomes subordinate to that devotee. That's the point.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for your time and your questions. And it's a nice way to spend Ekadasi. Oh, Ashish, you there? Great. Ashish, first time you're joining us.
Yeah, hi. It's nice actually. Navinandan sent the request. I saw it around 7:30 and joined immediately. And I wonder, I missed so many of them. It's really great. And I just request, I mean, obviously Navinandan will add me into the WhatsApp group. Yes. And all the members should ask in the group, because not personally. The reason being, obviously, it's a knowledge sharing, and we are just uniting with your Purna's question, Radhika's insights into different topics. It's really great to know everybody and their knowledge. It's really great.
It was amazing because today I sent out a blanket request, and Ashish responded immediately. And he said, I want to do this. And I was amazed. I thought, wow, thank you so much, for, you don't even know me. And
yeah, I wonder, how did you get my number? But anyway,
I was asking the same thing.
But anyway, this is a great coincidence, and I love it. And regarding Gita, my last time when I visited India, my friend gave me Gita because he was doing Ramayana in his house, and he distributed Gita to everybody. Since that, it was my despair. I haven't read the Gita yet.
Oh, great.
The influence of that Gita, just keeping it with me, is so much that it's changed my entire life in last 1 year. And I wonder when I start reading it, what will happen to me.
So every Friday night, join us. But actually, not just Friday night. I mean, obviously, you must be working, etc. But we have things going on every day. I'll share with you. And at one point, you probably say, "Oh, I've had enough of these guys."
No. I'm not that kind of thing. And if see this life is given by God. So if we just be part of any portion of our life, daily routine. If I normally do some daily routines for that thing, but if I can include, I will definitely do that.
Fantastic, Ashish. And when you sent your address in Folkestone, I thought, how did we meet this person? I was asking my wife, where did we meet Ashish? We must have met you somewhere to be in touch with you like this. So, but anyway, amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You made my day, actually, I have to say.
I didn't do anything.
You did. Believe me, you did.
No, I didn't do anything. It is all part of God.
I just had something to add to what Ashish said. I don't know if you remember this, Navi Prabhu, but you hold a very, very, very special place in my heart. And the reason is 5 years ago, 2015, I think it was early spring, or we were probably getting into summer, and I was on the high street, vagabonding and looking at what to buy, what material things to buy, and all of that. I still do that. I'm guilty of that. And you, along with a lot of other devotees, were singing the Hare Krishna mantra. I was so attracted, and I have been fond of Krishna, and the minute I heard Krishna's name, I turned around and I came to say hi. And you gave me a copy of the Bhagavad Gita that day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the one. And it just stayed with me. I held it with great pride and reverence, but I didn't actually start reading it. And just at the start of the lockdown, I said, okay, maybe it's time. Let's just read it. And I think until it comes within you, until you feel ready to accept or to read it and to understand it and absorb it, I think that time comes. It happens automatically. I think it's divine grace. And then I started reading it. So now I try just, the book is very small as it is. Bhagavad Gita as it is a very tiny book. So I just read 2 pages, not more than that, just 2 pages, which sometimes if Prabhupada is in his mood, then the purport goes into 3 pages. And so we don't get to hear Krishna, but then it's beautiful. And I just thought I'll remind you that you actually handed me a copy, and I think I paid nothing for it, maybe a $5 or something, as a contribution or a donation. And what a blessing it was. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing it. Actually, this is all Prabhupada's mercy. Without him, God knows what we'd be doing. We definitely wouldn't be on this Zoom call.
Sure.
So, no, thank you so much for sharing that. No. And it's amazing. We see you often, like now and then, I mean, and always remember, yes, Radhika, what a name. What a person. So thank you so much. Thank you for encouraging us.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, actually, let's end with you. And you can recite Ashish, you want to say anything? Okay. You can recite as many as you like, whatever you like. You have a free hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sure. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Here, I would like to add something with this devotee who said that, I think it's Gita, who said that she was doing Ekadasi for her father.
Henna.
Okay, sorry. Not only keeping Ekadasi, she can chant round on name of her father, and she can do Tulsi Puja also on name of the father. That will be very nice.
Good suggestions. Very good suggestions.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Radhika.
Yeah, sure. I am just reading something and I thought it'll be interesting to share because I don't know the authenticity of this, but I have heard from several learned people that the origin of the Vishnu Sahasranama is very significant. It was found in the Mahabharata. The Vishnu Sahasranama. Sahasra means 1,000. Nama means names. So Lord Vishnu has more than 1,000 names. So this is a shloka, a long shloka with couplets, verses, about 108 of them, only comprising the Lord's name. It's purely praise and all his names put together. Devaki Nandan and, Krishna and Madhava and Govinda and, all his names. It's beautiful. So how did it come about? I'm reading this, and this is courtesy Hindupedia.com. The Vishnu Sahasranama is found in the Mahabharata. Literally translated, this means 1,000 names of Vishnu. This is found in the Anushanika Parvam, chapter relating to orders and rules of kings of Mahabharata. Bhishma Pitama was defeated and was grievously wounded by Arjuna. But since he could choose the time of his death as per the boons he had received, he chose to die in Uttarayana and was waiting for the auspicious time. Meanwhile, the war was over, leading to the death of all those male members in the family except that of the Pancha Pandavas and the unborn child of Abhimanyu. Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, became the king of Hastinapur, and whom else would he go for advice other than Bhishma the Great? To a question as to what is the best possible stotra, Bhishma answers that it is the Vishnu Sahasranama, and he teaches it to Yudhishthira.
Wow.
Though it describes 1,000 aspects and praises of the Lord, it is not simple and easy to understand. Many great acharyas, led by Shankara Bhagavad-pada, felt a need to give its name, its meaning in crystal clear terms, so that the devotee can not only sing but meditate on the aspect of the God that he's praising. But this again was done in Sanskrit. And then it has some fine details. So this basically is the gist to how it came about. In the afterword to the stotra, Goddess Parvati asks Lord Shiva, the cosmic god, for an easy way to sing the stotra for the learned. He replies that it is sufficient that the learned one repeats the name of Rama, and that is equivalent to singing the entire Sahasranama. It is important to note that this is only the easy method, which is prescribed to the very learned. And since all of us in this group, or at least I certainly am not, I try not to take the shortcut. Okay, now let me progress into the stotra. So like Indu Mataji said, the stotra starts with conversations, Yudhishthira, and it starts with bowing to Lord Ganesha first, and then it goes on. And the actual verses in the Vishnu Sahasranama are 108.
Okay.
And each of these 108 is a couplet, 2 lines of it. Okay. So I'll just read the first one, because I really like it very much. Trying to pull out the meaning. Yes, I've got it here. So the first verse goes, Om Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krit Bhuta Bhritbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. So the first word itself in the phrase says Vishwam. Vishwam means he who is the universe itself. Vishnu, he who is spread everywhere. Vashatkaro, he who is personification of Vedic yajna. or sacrifice. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhuhu, he who is the master of the past, present, and future. Bhuta Krit, he who has created the beings in the universe. Bhuta Brit, he who takes care of all the beings in the universe. Bhava, he who is everything that happens. Bhutatma, he who is the soul of every being in the universe. Bhuta Bhavanaha, he who nurtures every being in the universe. Bhutatma, he who is detached of everything, he who has clean character. Paramatma, he who is in every being but beyond every being or the greatest soul. Muktanam Paramagatihi, he who is the ultimate salvation of every freed being. Avyayaha, he who does not have different forms or he who is always the same. Purusha, he who is inside everybody. Sakshi, he who is the witness of everything that happens. Kshetranaha, he who knows the body. Akshara, he who does not have death. Yoga, he who can be attained by yoga or perhaps meditation in this sense. Yoga Vitham Neta, he who is the leader of all those who know yoga. Shriman, he in whom Sri Lakshmi goddess resides. Can you imagine that? That's just 2 lines of all of the 108 lines. So each word or each name of Lord Vishnu is so powerful, is so full of meaning. It's pregnant with meaning. It's pregnant with significance and his glory. So I am in love with the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, and I'm so happy to share it with all of you. Just 2 lines of it.
I tell you what, you're absolutely right. That's just mind blowing. We could do one session, or maybe not one, maybe maybe a few, where you go through each line. If you're up for it.
Oh yes, I'll be happy to. If there are takers, there was something that I was very curious about. So I come from a Hindu family, Brahmin family, and a very devout family. My mother is a great devotee of the Lord, and she wakes up to pray, and she sleeps only thinking about when I can wake up again to pray. That's my mother for you. Bless her. She's
powerful.
Yeah, she's been such a fantastic influence. I feel so blessed to be her daughter. But as Hindus, a lot of Hindus learn that the same Mahamantra, they learn it as Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And a lot of non-ISKCON followers, if I may add the term, or non-Srila Prabhupada followers, say a variety of mantras, one of them being Vishnu Sahasranama. Whereas in the ISKCON family, in Prabhupada's family, the Mahamantra, of course, holds prime significance. But apart from that, there are some very unique and very distinct shlokas which are only unique to this family. And they don't generally chant the other popular ones outside of the ISKCON family. I don't know if I'm sounding too discriminative.
No, you're right.
And it always it didn't bother me because there are different ways of doing things, and it just amused me.
Yeah, you're right. And it's a source of actually inspiration that, look, we're all in the same family, yet we can align with Lord in so many different ways. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's the Prabhupada's guru's father. Great. He is our great-great-grandfather. He used to go to a mosque and to a church, and he used to say, I'm so impressed how you worship the Lord, my Lord, in a different way, in such a nice way that you're pleasing him as much as I'm pleasing him with my worship, you're pleasing him with your worship, the same one Lord. So in that sense, yes, it's it's really wonderful that we can worship that same one Lord through a different way. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed the mood, how we shouldn't knock down others' ways, or as you said nicely, it amused you. Absolutely, it's really nice. Whereas some people may want to, criticize or say, hey, you're not doing it right, and especially somebody who's born in a Brahmin family, sometimes that's the mood. I'm a Brahmin, and you should be doing it this way. But actually, the Lord can be worshipped in so many different ways, and we should really love others. They're pleasing the Lord as much as I am with their way of worship. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
But also Prabhupada, what he wanted, he was dealing with hippies, when he came to the West. He was dealing with people who, like even the Americans were so rejecting them, please, they would sort of class them in a certain area and leave them there. And Prabhupada went to that area. And eventually, even one person said to Prabhupada, whatever you're doing with these hippies, it's phenomenal. This is one of the government people. You've transformed them into happies, sort of thing. So Prabhupada, he was dealing with really, and one time he was asked, what's your miracle? And he said, well, my miracle is turning these hippies into happies. And somebody said, what is a hippie? Oh, he said, oh, you don't know what a hippie is? Hippie is something extraordinary. It's so funny, Prabhupada. So he was dealing with, like really sort of down and out, crazy people. So he gave the mercy of Chaitanya in its complete form. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a hidden avatar, so he's not very well known, especially in Bharat, which is really surprising. But he's not well known. But what Prabhupada did, he brought Chaitanya to the whole world, and he revealed the essence of Mahaprabhu's teachings. And not everybody will appreciate how the Lord has made the essence so easy. And because it's so easy, it's sometimes taken too lightly, So Prabhupada gave it as it is, the absolute essence, Mahamantra. Don't worry about any other mantra, just chant the Mahamantra. But we know millions of mantras, but just focus on that one. Get it right. You get that mantra right, your life is successful. And you guys are hippies, and I want you to go back home, back to God in this very life. Prabhupada had a mission, and that mission was impossible, but he made it possible because he gave the mercy of Chaitanya in its very essence, So we're very, very lucky to tap into this mercy. And especially, the people like yourself, very cultured, from a Brahminical class, and you already halfway there, even without doing anything. So
no, I don't think that's true. I don't think because you're a Brahmin, you're very cultured. I disagree with that.
You are. I agree with you, but you are.
No, that's just you being kind. But I don't think that because you were born in a particular family, you're very cultured or learned. Because I think there are these presumptions many have that.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, not just because.
But yes, you have a nice sense of humor.
Yeah. So, but luckily we've come across so many. I mean, Puna Mataji is also from a Brahminical family. I mean, you can see the difference. Look at the children. From the children you can tell. My goodness, so cultured. And
yes, that I agree. I think the importance of prayer or the importance of having a relationship with God is instilled I think, very early. It could be different in different homes. Some may say, just go and stand in front of God. It's okay if you don't say a prayer, but you have to go and see Him.
Yeah.
Even that is some kind of a relationship.
It is. Absolutely.
And every time there is a festival, I mean, I think everybody would relate to this largely, but every time there's a festival, if you're wearing new clothes, the clothes are first kept before God. And then you go and you collect it from there as if that's an important person in the family. And
very good.
So these are some things that I really love, because it's just such a beautiful way of inculcating or improving the relationship that we may be nurturing with God.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely spot on. You know, I've got a proposal. On the 30th, I don't know, you all may have plans, but 31st January is tradition.
December.
Oh, yes, yeah. December, sorry. New Year's Eve. We always stay up, and it's always nice to see in the new year in a very auspicious way. And I don't know if that day you're free at all, Radhika. I know you're a very busy person because.
Oh no, not at all. I don't know as yet.
Yes.
Because I think next Wednesday we'll have the new announcements around London going into tier 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that may change a lot of things. So I don't know yet. And
sure, but if possible, I'd love.
Yes, I'd love to be there if.
And I'd love you to
I'll
share
try my best.
the Vishnu Sahasranam that night. You can do that if you like. You'll have a few hours.
Oh yes, yeah, sure. No, sure, happy to. Not that I know any of it in my head. I will be simply putting myself with a video off and reading it from the script and sounding very intelligent. That's all.
No, it's fine. It's really good. I'm the same. I don't really know the Gita, but I can say one thing. The more we learn it, more we share it, the more we are understanding it. So
the more you find you don't know it.
And the more you read, the more you realize how much less you know. Yeah, that's true. How much we really don't know. So, no, fantastic.
Prabhuji, may I add something on Radhika's previous point?
Yes, of course.
With regards to the difference in the shlokas, Prabhuji, please correct me. My reading about Srila Prabhupada is only as recent as our association has been, I'll confess. But I have been reading, I just yesterday night, I started reading the Canto 1, Part 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm reading about Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. So if we look into our culture, whenever, please bear with me, I come from a Karmakandi Brahminical family. So I know a little bit of Karmakand, where in the sense we say, whenever we're doing any puja, vidhi, a worship ritual, whenever we are bowing down, we bow down not only to the universal energy, we also bow down to the Ishtadev, that is the God of our family, the family whom we pray. Kuladev, that our community. So for example, whatever surname I have, in a very crude sense, I'm telling that God, assigned for that surname, we bow down to them. And Sthanadev, so the God who is responsible or who takes care of that particular place. Now, what I understand is Vaishnav religion, has spread, or the Vaishnavites, they are really, really widespread, and they have taken one or the other form of Krishna to worship. If we talk about Gujarat, there is Haveli Dharma, where they are only worshipping on the baby Krishna, the little form of Krishna. So what I understand is that it's an ocean out there, and they have chosen to stick to what either has been passed on to them, or from their gurus, or gurus of gurus, or whatever is is prevalent in that area at that point in time. So, at that time, probably, Chaitanya Prabhu, because he was in the eastern part, he could, and India wasn't, like India is a big country, Bharat is a big country, it's a vast country. And that time, probably, the transport or the to and fro wasn't that established. I might be wrong. But having said that, he was the Sthanadev for that particular place, and Srila Prabhupada, in all honesty and all reverence, he tried his best to bring him to the entire population of not only Bharat but the world, at large. So I can see the way we worship Krishna in western part of India, Bharat, will be slightly different than how he is worshipped in southern.
Yes.
And similarly, it will be slightly different when we go to the eastern part. That's the beauty of our country, that we are reaching at the same destination but taking different routes.
Yeah, it's very rich in culture. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very nicely put, Maji. And if you look at Bharati culture, it's so tolerant, and one of its faults is it's tolerant. But
yes, true. That's the beauty of it as well, isn't it?
That's the beauty as well.
I think that defines us.
That defines, yeah. It's very true. And why is it tolerant? Because the Lord is tolerant. Like we were reading in the chapter 12, wasn't it? If you can't do this,
do
Krishna
that.
Saying, do this. If you can't do that, then do this. Krishna is so tolerant of us. So very, very nice. Very nice. So thank you so much, everybody, for participating, joining, and it's been a really nice session today. So thank you. Thank you, Radhika. Thank you, Ashish, rather. Indulekha Maaji, Kaushalya, Puna Maaji, Rita. Oh, Rita. How are you, Rita? Sejo, Sharmila.
Thanks to you for organizing such a great
thank you
discussion.
Thank you, Sejo. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radhika.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you always, and thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna.
this
Hare Krishna, everyone.
lovely evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Take care.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you.